All right, welcome everyone. Week 6. You guys are in the last final week. So you're like the finalists, which is super, super exciting. So you guys have done your homework, you've been doing your contacts, you've had your weekly calls with your directors, and I sure hope that you guys have grown through this program, right? Have we all learned something so far? Okay, good. So I have Advanced Director Casey with me today. I'm going to have her introduce herself. Then I'll tell you a little bit about me, and then we'll go into a little bit more training and then some homework. So Casey, you want to go?
Yes, so you want me to go through and tell them the whole thing about me and
Yeah,
what?
introduce
Okay.
yourself. Yeah, and then I'll introduce me, and then we can talk about goal settings.
All right, so I am Casey Barbarito. I have been with Pampered Chef for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years on June 6th. I have been a director since October of 2016. I am a mom of two girls, 12 and 19, and I'm married. I joined Pampered Chef to have something to do for myself because I did daycare for 10 years. And I needed to prove to myself that I could do something just for me. And I was kind of losing myself. And when I was presented with the opportunity to join Pampered Chef, I thought it would be a great way to get that adult interaction that I definitely needed and desired. So I had to prove to everyone that I could make this business venture worthwhile, including myself. So I was kind of skeptical at first when I first started, but um, I fast tracked to director and I was able to earn $1,500 in my first 90 days. So I've always been one to try to prove people wrong when they tell me that I can't do something. So in June of 2017, I decided that I was going to make Pampered Chef my full-time business. So very exciting, and I just went for it. I committed to making a team and helping others to get the financial freedom and to help them get the belief that I had that I could do whatever it was that I set my mind to. So never in a million years did I realize how much Pampered Chef would impact my family. I was presented with the opportunity to become part of our LEAD program, which was an amazing program for me to develop as a leader. Um, I started reading books about leadership and about self-help. In 2 years, I've learned more about myself because of Pampered Chef than I could have possibly ever imagined. So let's see. It may sound kind of corny, but it's true. So you just go out there and try to, better yourself, and you're going to better your business as well. So your brain believes what you tell it. So at the end of February, we found out that my husband had lymphoma. So I had to put my will and my belief to the test, and I found myself wondering how in the world I was going to, be there for my husband, to work, to be there for my kids, and, telling our daughters how this was going to all play out. We have a family farm, so to say we were busy was an understatement. It wasn't something that we were expecting to deal with at 39 years of age, but with Pampered Chef, I was able to move my schedule around. I'm able to be there with my husband, and the encouragement that we get from our Pampered Chef family is amazing. And I don't think that I would have handled this situation as well had I not had the training and the support system that I have now. So super happy that I have become part of this family. You guys won't regret, becoming a leader. And my favorite perk of Pampered Chef is the freedom that I have to do what I need to do for my family.
Wow, right? If that's not an inspiration right there, I don't know what is. So, thank you for sharing that. So, and you guys have time to ask questions at the end. So for those of you that don't know me, Claudia Bazar, I've been with Pampered Chef for 8 years, have been a director for like 7.5, so promoted fairly quickly in my first 6 months. I just started to, I don't know why I started, just to, it looked like fun, and I was like, okay, maybe we'll give it a try. And the story is, some of you know it, my husband challenged me. He said, you're not working, this is a hobby, unless you make $500 a month. So I accepted the challenge. So for those of you that are like challenge driven, right, you probably understand why I did what I did. And I started making about $500 a month. And but I still, I was staying home with a little child, and it just kind of wasn't everything I wanted. I wanted more. So I decided to go back to work full time, and do that. And then after working full time, have my second kid, half my income was going to daycare. And I was kind of like, well, that's pointless. Can anybody relate? Right. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to, not work full time anymore and just step up my Pampered Chef business instead of being like, doing it like a little bit. I was like, let me do like 2 shows a week. And back then it was only cooking shows. And the rest is kind of history, but I stay with Pampered Chef because it gives me freedom. It gives me choices. I get to work in my yoga pants. I don't have to get dressed if I don't want to. I get to, like, it's really just freedom when you work for yourself. Is it hard? Yes, because you have to show up to work when sometimes you don't want to. But, when my kids are sick, or when there's a field trip, or like 2 days ago at the science fair, like, I was able to just make sure my schedule works around that. And that is the best gift that we have, is these options and choices that Pampered Chef allows us. One of my favorite perks is being a director is lots of things, but one of the best things that you can do in this business is share this business with other people, and how it can change people's lives, right? So I didn't personally recruit Casey. I was part of it in a 3-way call. And I remember her, she was at a party, and we had a little 3-way conversation on my way home. I think it was on my way home from Jody's party. It was somewhere, was it? Okay, yeah. And she was like, oh, well, I don't know, and maybe we'll see. And I was like, okay, what's holding you back? And we're going to talk about that today. What's holding you back from just doing it? And she's like, I just need a kick in the ass. And I was like, I didn't really know her at all,
and
right?
I got one.
Yeah, and I was like, well, there you go. Here's one over the phone. Let's just do it. Let's try it out, and let's see what happens. And
I don't regret it a bit.
And you just never know, right? You just never know who the next Casey is, who the next Trish Woods is, who the next Joby is, right? You never know how a little bit or a lot Pampered Chef can help other people. And that's really what we want to, change your mindset with this program is, don't make it about yourself. Don't hold it, don't hold this business to yourself. Share it with other people. So we're going to talk a little bit about, so I think someone is talking or has background, or so just mute yourself if you had a lot of noise. And I love, who is this? Laura, who's on the swing. I think you were on the swing last time with a glass of wine. I was like, I want to come to your house. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. Best job ever, right? So we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about, now that we're approaching the last week, right? What are some goals we're going to set on from now on after? How are we going to set them? And what happens after this program, right? So, Casey.
So like Claudia said, you guys all need to set some goals, because if you don't have goals, you don't have a business. You don't have something to work towards, to get up for every day. Set realistic goals. Dream big. I encourage you to dream big, and make sure you write these goals down. But by setting realistic goals, they're smaller and they're more obtainable. So, I mean, if you couldn't fail, tell me, what would your dreams look like? How can your Pampered Chef business help to get you there? So a few of my goals that I've reached, I know one was a family goal. We wanted a new camper. So that is actually something we're looking at tomorrow, as a new camper. So, there were earning a trip. That was something I was able to do with Pampered Chef. I earned my very first trip to Amelia Island, setting those goals and tracking them. So I want you to think about these goals and focus on them. Why do you want these things? How can these things help your family? Don't just think about you and, okay, it's a paycheck. Yes, it's a paycheck, but dream bigger. Um, let's see. Why are you doing what you're doing? Obviously you're working towards something. For me, it was to have that adult interaction, but it has grown to so much more. I am supporting my family right now. Like I said, with my husband doing his treatments, so I am contributing. So that is huge for me. Consistency. Definitely be consistent with your business and, get up every day saying, I am going to make this happen. So I do that every day. There are things as a leader that you don't want to do, but by doing them every day, you are going to stay in business. So something we learned about during our lead program was to be sure that you make SMART goals. And SMART goals, it's an acronym. Specific, you want specific goals. You want them to be measurable. You want them to be attainable, realistic, and have a time frame for them. So don't just say, this is what I'm going to do in the next year. This is what I'm going to do in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Have a time frame, because that way you can actually see that you are achieving these goals. And some people don't set goals for fear of failure. I've done that. But what people don't realize is that you need failure to recognize your success. Is that it?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So I'll just fill in a couple other things that have, that I've experienced in the past. But basically, right, I always say successful people do the things that others don't want to do. Right? Sometimes we don't want to get out of bed, but hey, we have goals, right? Do I want to get on the treadmill? No, but I got goals, right? Because we know that it's necessary to get us where we want to go. And just know that you all can have success. You all can be the next directors and beyond. You all can make the money that you dream of. You all can get all the free Pampered Chef items that you want, right? But you just have to decide that that's what you want, right? So at the end of the day, we as your leaders can provide you with the best training, but unless you're willing to take the action needed and change something, right, your business is going to remain the same that it has been, right? So change is good, trying different things, right? And what happens many times is we take advantage of training kind of like this, and we learn the how we need to do things, but we often don't implement it, and we might not see an improvement as a result, right? So as we finalize this program, I really want you to go back to your notes, maybe re-listen to some calls, and pick like 3 things that you're going to try for 30, 60, 90 days, and see see how that can work for you. But just like Casey said, right, it has to be part of something you do every day, right? Maybe not Monday through Sunday, but Monday through Friday, or whatever your schedule looks like. It's not something that you can just super work on for a week and then not do it ever again, right? It has to be the consistency that Casey already talked about. And it takes consistency. It takes a lot of self-discipline, sometimes hard work, and maybe even some sacrifices. Sometimes it is hard to be your own boss because you can choose not to work, right? And you can actually get in a rut. Like it took me, believe it or not, I think 4 days to recover from vacation. Like it was crazy. I just didn't want to do anything. It was so bad. I was like, okay, no more, right? So and one of my favorite quotes, if you've been with me for a while, it's always, you can only fail if you quit, right? So just keep swimming, just keep learning, keep trying different things, right? If you're frustrated with something, reach out to your upline or take your 5 minutes, let it out, and then unless you can change it, move on, right? Don't get sucked into any bad customers or anything like that. So how can we help you achieve your goals and dreams? Well, again, it goes back to knowing your goals and your why, right? And be crystal clear about this why, right? So all of you guys are here to be the next director. All of you guys are here to make that $1,000, $2,000 a month, to earn your fast track bonus, to earn your Pampered Chef dollars. Maybe take a fake check and put it on on your fridge, okay? So maybe you're going to go for it in June, or maybe you're still working on it. That next paycheck that you're going to get, put it on your fridge and tell your family, what are we going to do with it? And really envision that happening and reward your family as well, right? So your family are kind of like your board of directors at home. So you should train them like, hey, you know what? It's going to be a crazy month in June. I have lots of shows. I'm going for a big goal. But when I pull this off, we are going to go X, water park, whatever, movies, ice cream, whatever it might be, right? Reward them in the process. And, oh, go ahead.
One thing I just wanted to add is your why is going to make you cry. And that's one thing I've been told for the whole entire 2 years that I've done this. If your why doesn't hit you right in the heart, you don't have your right why. And that's one thing I've definitely learned throughout the 2 years. So dig deep, guys.
Dig deep, yeah. If your why doesn't make you cry, it's not your why. Might be a good reason, but it's not what's going to pull you through. And just, again, believe in yourself. Believe that you deserve to be successful and will be successful, okay? We believe in all of you guys. You wouldn't be here on week 6 finishing this program if we didn't believe in all of you, right? But it's just the next step of taking the action that it takes, right? And it's actually 5% that separate the ones that become successful and the 95% that don't, right? One of the things that you guys can do to help with consistency, sometimes it's just breaking it into smaller pieces, right? So we've taught you guys through this program 15 contacts a week, or 3 contacts a day, because 15 contacts can sound like a lot, but when you just work on touching 3 people every single day, there's actually a fun math that I'm going to share with you guys. So I've shared this before with some of you guys, but if you do 3 contacts a day, no matter what, that equals, all right, I want you guys to write these down. They're pretty interesting. It equals 780 new contacts. That means 5 days a week. We even give you the weekend off, okay? And out of those contacts, typically 1 out of 10 is going to host a show. So that means 78 new shows on your calendar over the course of a year, right? So if you take a $500 show average, that's $39,000 in sales. How many of you guys would like 78 more shows every single year? Right? So that's also 39,000 incentive trip points. You guys can go to Scottsdale, Arizona or Hawaii with us. And let's not even think about the commission on $39,000 alone, right? So if you knew that these daily tasks would have these results, would you commit to them? Right? It's a numbers game. And results are long-term, committing to doing the one thing that's going to move you forward. And just having the check it off every day. Just did it. 3, 3, 3, 3. There's no way you're going to make 3 contacts a day and not get results. Maybe not immediately, but whatever you're doing today affects your business 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks down the road. Okay. And the other thing I want you guys to think about, I mean, all of you guys are in this program, you're finishing, you all, I'm pretty confident you all have shows, right? But I want you to think about your calendar and think about, if you look at it now, right, if you flip to this week, next weekend's over, how many Pampered Chef appointments do you have in your calendar that, or any other appointments that are, concerning you about your business, meetings, trainings, whatever, the next week, the week after, how many appointments do you have in your calendar regarding your business? How many? 0, 1, 2, 3, maybe more, 4, 6, right? But maybe you have a 0, maybe you have a 1, maybe you have 2. And I want you to think about, if you were a dentist, a hair salon, a doctor's office, right? Do you think you could stay in business if you only had like 1 appointment next week? Probably not, right? And that's exactly, where we are now and where we're going to be, 1, 2, 3 years down the road is where you spend your time, right? And, if you were a hairstylist and you had no appointments next week, I'm sure you would, call people or put advertisement out or ask for referrals because you opened a physical store, right? But sometimes because it's really easy to do Pampered Chef and it's really easy to quit Pampered Chef. Like it's not a big deal, right? We don't have the commitment of, oh, we just opened a store and invested thousands of dollars. It's so easy to close the store. So I always want you to imagine your Pampered Chef business like a brick and mortar business that you need a key to unlock, and every day you need to find a way to service your customers and get customers in the door. So here's another little fun math equation, because, sometimes people are like, oh, well, you know, you're Claudia Bazaar. I could never do what you do. You're Casey Barbarito. There's no way I could handle all those things that you have to do every single day, right? But at the end of the day, we all have the same amount of time, right? We all have our struggles. Trust me, we all have them. We all have our sacrifices that we do. But at the end of the day, we all have the same 24 hours in a week, right? So here's a fun little math equation, whatever you want to call it, right? So 24 hours times 7 days a week is 160 hours total every single week. All right, now let's be realistic and say we get 8 hours of sleep. Some of you would be happy to get 8 hours of sleep, right? You're happy if you get like 5. I need 8 or I don't function. Someone's laughing. So if you sleep 8 hours a day times 7, it's 56 hours a week goes away for sleep, right? And let's say you work full time. So let's say you work 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday. So that's another 40 hours per week that you work, right? Maybe, if you work more, just change the numbers. And let's say I'm going to give you 6 hours every single day to spend with your family or free time or whatever you want to do. Go to the gym. 6 hours a day. That's a lot, right? How is that even possible? I don't want to spend 6 hours a day at the gym, right? But it's if it's possible, right? So if you look at that after sleeping, working, and having 6 hours a day working free time, not 6 hours a day doing whatever you want, it still leaves you 30 hours a week. Crazy, right? So you wonder, where does all the time go? And sometimes the time just kind of fades away because we don't know what we're supposed to do. So we're just kind of like, right? Maybe we'll clean up a little bit, then we'll do this, and boom, 2 hours have been gone, right? It's kind of like how I felt tonight. I was like, holy moly, it's almost 8:30. How did that happen? So one of the things I preach on, whether you are, really most of you, it's going to be a long time until you work Pampered Chef full time and like maybe work 40 hours a week like I do, right? So working Pampered Chef part time, or just 10 hours a week or 5 hours a week, whatever it might look like for you, but knowing when you're going to work is important, okay? Especially, I mean, if you're doing virtual parties, you're probably working 30 minutes, 60 minutes every day, right? Because you got to touch them every day. And then there should be, some hours, an hour or two for office time, where maybe on the weekend, if you work full time, that you set up your parties, or on a weeknight where you set up your parties and you make your host packets. So I'm going to post a more detailed video about making a schedule, but I never had one until a couple of years ago, and it changed my life because I felt like I was working 24/7. I was like, I cannot do this. Like, I feel like I'm sleeping, eating, breathing Pampered Chef. And although I love it, I need a break, right? So I'm now finally able to work, and when I work I'm on, and when I'm off I'm off. And sometimes you guys send me messages and they just sit there because I'm not checking my phone, right? Because there's no Pampered Chef emergency, right? Well, so far there hasn't been one. So I encourage you guys, as you go into this next step, while you're promoting next month, maybe the month after, to really set some time aside and look at your schedule. Put your family stuff first, put your work stuff first, and then look at the pockets. That's the beauty. You only have to look at the pockets of time that you have left, and you can schedule your Pampered Chef in there, right? And if you knew you could be making $800, $2,000 a month, would you be willing to invest a couple of hours during the week? I think you would, right? I mean, I just talked to a new girl. She did 4 virtual parties and made $500. It's like, hello, right? $500 is a lot of money. So anyway, so what happens after this program? So you guys do have 1 more week of homework, all right? And we are doing basically a June crash course if you want it, but it's a 30-day, it's not really a program, it's just like a support group for those of you that are 150% committed to promoting to director in June. The reason why is June is the last month that you can promote to cross the stage at national conference as a new director, which is like the best feeling ever, right? Casey just did it last year.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
is amazing.
So you get, what, I'm not going to tell you what you get, but you're going to be wearing a red dress. And some of you guys have been posting it, right? Last week or the week before. You can wear a red scarf. You don't have to wear anything red if you don't want to, but it's like, you're going to feel like the queen.
Celebrity. For sure.
Celebrity. Yeah. Everybody loves the directors at conference. And there's a new director, not new director, a director party. It's a glow party. There's always alcohol and food, and it's just really fun to be a director at conference. So we want to support everyone that wants to make it happen, because it makes us happy seeing you guys cross the stage. So I'm working with a very limited group. So if you are interested in being part of that, the only thing I ask is that you have shows. And if you don't have shows, then we have, right, a whole week to get the shows that we need. So if you're doing cooking shows, I say at least 6 cooking shows for June, or even the end of May and they run, they fall into June. Or if you're doing virtual parties, at least 4 to 6 virtual parties starting the last week in May, and then 4 to 6 virtual parties that first week in June. So you're starting the first 2 weeks in June with sales and just enough people to be in front of that we can coach you on, recruiting and so on. So if that's you, just send me a message and I would love to work with you. Like I said, I just need to make sure that you guys have the shows. And if you don't have them, right, we can work on that together in over the next couple of days. So the last topic for this week, talking about recruiting, it's really more about, okay, now that we've taught you how to look for leads and what to say and asking your host 5 times, how do we kind of just wrap it up, right? Put a bow on it. How do we close the deal, right? And how do we follow up with those that maybe are on our ongoing recruiting list? So as you keep asking, you should have an ongoing list of people. And if you're adding them to our work from home group, even better, because then they're all in there, right? But you should have a list where you have your recruit leads and you kind of check in with them. So with your list, I recommend following up with them once a month towards the beginning of the month, when you know what the new sign-on bonus is, and just kind of checking in with them and saying, hey, it's been a while since we chatted. Just wanted to check in. Is now a better time for you to give this business a try? Here's our June sign-on bonus. What do you think? Do you have any questions? Are you ready to get started? Right? Just to kind of check in with them. But sometimes you might have those fence sitters like Casey was, right? That are like, yeah, I'm looking at it. Oh, maybe, I don't know. And you just got to ask them, what's holding you back? Sometimes they just need to answer that question. What's holding you back from giving this business a try for 30 days? It is not that hard to try this business for 30 days. You're not signing your life away, right? And when you ask that question, we want to see those screenshots, because we can help you. Okay. And if you're part of the bullet train, we just launched this hashtag just ask, because we want to reward you guys for just simply asking and for sharing those screenshots and letting us that have experience over the years help you overcome these objections. Because sometimes we're just able to ask one more time where you maybe would have been like, okay, I'm going to leave her alone. And we just like to dig deeper. Okay. So, money's tight and maybe next month. But really what they're saying is money's tight. You can help them today make more money. How can we come up with $109 to get you started? But what happens is most people want the big kid because it's a great deal, right? $249. But reality is, if they could just scrape together 109 and we can help them make money right away, they're going to earn all those other products with their Pampered Chef dollars. They're going to be able to buy them, discount it, whatever, right? So I've had several people that have changed their mind and just ordered the small kit just to get started, because is it worth to save, the money and then start 3 months down the road if they could have been making $500 a month, right? Especially if they're virtual, you don't even really need your kid, right? So I just want you to really focus on if there's any leads out there that are just kind of like sitting there waiting for you to just say, why not you? Why not now? Look, this is what I did last month. I left my house. Never. I did one virtual party. I made $50. Whatever you've been making. I mean, anything is better than not doing it, right? And I want you to share that with them and definitely talk money. So Casey's going to go over our homework, and then we're going to open it up for some questions.
I get to give you guys your call to action. Woohoo! So what you want to do first is you want to sit down and you want to self-evaluate. Do the affirmations that we have talked about throughout this. I do them. I've started doing them with my family. My family writes them on their mirror. It's crazy to watch your kids do this as well. So take the time and do this. You want to use I am, I can, I believe, I will. Use things like that. Set new goals and evaluate your current goals, because sometimes the goal you started with is not the goal that you end with. Number 2, you want to review the list of 15 and see where you need improvement. Commit to changing any areas that you feel you're lacking. And if you need help with this, don't be afraid to ask. That's what we're here for. Practice closing the deal. Create your recruit lead list and follow up with previous old recruits. Even if it's been a while, it's never too late to ask. So put it out there. Things may have changed for them. Send your director the following: your 5 takeaways from this program. We want to hear your goals. We want to hear your affirmations. So don't hold back, guys. You know, put your heart into it and really dig deep as to why. So finish this homework, and any final homework or recordings that you guys have missed, make sure you watch any of the previous recordings. Message your director and you'll receive a special graduation gift from your director.
That's right. So I just posted that, so you guys have it all in a screenshot, and as soon as you have that over to your director, you are a official graduate of this program. And you know, we've promoted some directors through this program. There's 2 of them working to make it happen this month, and you know, I don't want you to compare yourself to other people. Sometimes people do it in 15 days, and sometimes it takes them 90, whatever, right? It's your time, and you know, your time to shine when you're ready. But I think all of you guys that are completing this program are definitely ahead. You have all the resources. Now it's just a matter of deciding, am I going to go for this in June? Am I going to get the shows that I need to make things happen? So, okay, we have a couple minutes for questions. Anybody have any questions? No questions?
They're making this too easy.
I know. All righty. Well, if you have questions later, you can reach out to your director or reach out to me. And yeah, let's finish this program. And I want you guys to shout it out on that group page when you're done, and tag your director so we can send you your graduation gift. And let's I can't wait to see you guys all across the stage at conference, and or if you're not going for whatever reason, promote and celebrate you as you become the next director. So have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.